Okay, so I thought it might be interesting to look at my personal stash of bifaces that I'm going to work later, and the broken or failures that I have as far as things that are broken during manufacture, just to compare with the older artifacts or with the ancient artifacts, to see the difference between me, a modern napper, and an ancient napper. So we've looked at a lot of real ones. Now these are all going to be mine that I've made in the past few years. I think some of these are up to 3 years old. I have some broken stuff and some completed stuff. All right, I'm going to show maybe not the completed stuff, but I'm going to show bifaces that I've stashed for later and some brokes. Okay. Hopefully it won't last too long. This is a fairly recent piece because I got some of this material recently. And this is a piece of raw chert. This is how I store mine. I try to get them flat, right, and without step fractures, so that when I come back to it, I don't have to deal with too many issues and don't have to do too much damage control. But that's just me, right? And I have very few of these very large bifaces. This is one of the largest ones I have. In fact, this may be, yeah, probably the largest finished blank that I have, although I have spalls that are about this big. But anyway, that's how I store them. Most of them are going to be of that type. I wish that lighting was a little bit better. Anyway, I have the lighting at an angle so we get some shadows here, but it kind of messes with the exposure, I guess. So yeah, I try to get the edges fairly straight, thickest in the middle, and not many step fractures, so I don't have to deal with it when I'm coming back to it. All right, so I'll go through these pretty quick. These are all modern, like I said. And this one already has the edges ground. So this is a ground edge preform here on this side. I did not grind it on this side. Now, the artifacts are real ones. A lot of these blades are not developed until after the stem is put in. So if I wanted to recreate Pedernales preforms, I probably wouldn't do it this way. It would be thicker, much thicker. You know, preforms would be like this, and maybe at the beginning of a stem. This one I'm saving for an Uzi knife because I have very few pieces of white or fairly white chert. So, and I'm saving it in this form because it's not going to break. I could have, chipped it down to something like this. This is also white chert, but it's a chalky, dull chert that doesn't. I don't think it resembles the type of chert that Uzi's blade was made from. This is a more shiny or more lustrous, actual flint-looking type stuff. So that's why I made it out of that. But yeah, this is. I don't remember where I got this actual piece from. I can't remember if this is an actual artifact or not, now that I'm looking at it. Can't remember. Could actually be an artifact that I'm going to utilize. Anyway, this is a heat-treated piece. All right. A lot of these are heat-treated. Some of them are raw. I can't tell which one Which ones they are for sure. After they've been sitting in the dirt for a while, I can't really tell. Except if I feel the edges. See, yeah, I probably heat treated that. I'll have to take off a couple chips. This is probably heat treat. Just because it looks pretty rough, and I can't get flakes, big flakes like this without heat treating this kind of rough stuff. Yeah, I've got some real artifacts made of this type of material, but my edges are not ground down, because I'll grind them first and then I'll knock around and opportunistically remove flakes, and there's very few ground edges left after I do my pass. My pass is all the way around, and I'll shave it down like this, just to trim off all the little projections and weak spots. This is a broken biface, and yeah, it's probably raw, but I can't remember. It's a common break with this raw stuff, right? And when it has a patina on it, it gets all speckly and stuff. But yeah, I've got artifacts made of this type of material. You can see the similarities between these and the ones I just showed, because I'm working with the same kind of cherts that the old knappers were working, just so I can get the feel for it, and if it needs heat or not to do the type of flaking they were doing. Now, what about the skill level? Isn't that the determining factor in how these flakes are run? Yes, it is. But with heat treat, you often get much thinner, wider flakes than you can with raw stone. Although you can get it with raw stone too, don't get me wrong, but it's harder. The platforms need to be pretty substantial. You need to have a pretty substantial biface to do it. It's hard to thin down a thin piece when it's raw, especially with percussion. You can do it with indirect percussion, but I don't know if they were using indirect percussion mainly like I do. They could be using direct percussion mainly. So I assume that it needs to be heat treated to remove broad, thin flakes from thin bifaces. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to make with these. These are just stored for later, because some of this is a very high grade material I don't want to mess up. So I'm saving them for later. Okay. Extremely high grade material, some of this stuff. And yeah, I don't have any ground down edges usually. I should grind these edges down to store them. It's safer that way, because if I go into a box or something with all these bifaces, it's not safer if the edges are ground down. But the old guys didn't save them with ground down edges, so. And why am I concerned about what the old guys did when I'm using steel and aluminum and copper and all these metals and stuff? Doesn't make sense, huh? Well, I think I've shown that you can make very similar flakes and very similar pieces with just about any type of knapping tool, whether it's antler, hammerstone, aluminum, copper, steel. All right, as long as you have the idea in your head of how they were made, you have your own technique, is what I mean. You have your own technique, your own idea of what your technique looks like in your head, And what you want to achieve, you want to achieve broad flakes or whatever, you're going to be able to do that flaking with just about any tool you have. You'll adjust so that you can obtain that type of flaking. All right. So I know that a lot of guys are going to say you cannot be even close to duplicating the old stuff unless you start and stay with natural materials. Well, I tend to disagree. As long as you have in your mind what your goal is, you can use just about any material for your tools to obtain that goal. Okay. And as they say, change my mind. Actually, I hated that when I saw that online. I'm not going to do that to you guys. My mind will be easy to change if that's proven wrong. All right, so here we go. I love this material. It's just heartbreaking because it breaks so easy. It snaps in the middle so easily. I'll probably finish this out with pressure. I'm so afraid to hit this stuff. Yeah, this is just a goof up here. Yeah, sometimes I goof these up and then I just store them. It's 11 minutes. I need to hurry up. But yeah, I try to get them straight. You know, I don't have wonky edges that go in different directions, and I don't have curves in them. But a lot of the old artifacts have curves in them and wavy edges, and they just go with the flow in some cases. They're not really concerned about straightness. This one's kind of wonky, but it's still, you know, I still try to get it fairly flat. This kind of stuff, I don't know why I did this. Probably so I could see if I could remove that turtleback later on. Maybe I saved this for a video, a turtleback video. I wonder. Or I got it to the state raw and then I stuck it in a heat treat. This might be heat treated. It's a mystery. Even to me, I did it and I didn't even know. So how can I even look and judge at these artifacts, right? I don't know jack. Yeah, I don't even remember some of these. I don't even remember doing this one. It's probably raw. I always get that kind of stuff with raw shirt. All right. Oh yeah, I wanted to save this because this is beautiful material. I think this comes out of New Mexico. Yeah. All this root beer stuff is Texas stuff, and that's heartbreaking when you have concrete in such fine grade material. Although it doesn't look like it goes all the way through, so that's encouraging. I can probably take a flake right there and remove that little patch of concrete, and it'll be perfect. Yeah, I don't want to see your stuff, man. Where's the real stuff? Yeah, I'll be done with this in a little bit. That's it. This piece of heat treat. But I just wanted to compare these to the real ones. I would do this sitting here by myself looking at these and saying to myself, what am I doing that I could learn from or change? One thing I noticed is that they, at least in this area where the site that they came from, at least in that area, they were being more haphazard and more opportunistic than I am when they nap. I am very opportunistic, but they look even more opportunistic. I am expedient, but they look even more expedient than I am. So I just, if I relax my technique and be even more clumsy and stupid, it probably will match their bifaces better. Oddly enough. And I was looking at some of my old videos just yesterday, and I almost died of cringe. God, I can't watch my old videos. Yeah. Why is that? Well, because a lot of times I don't think the same way. Some of those videos I made while I was very times in my life where I was very tired. Work was not going well. I was napping because to relieve stress and anxiety and forget problems and all that kind of stuff and that kind of thing. So it's not just the napping itself. There's other issues that you guys don't see. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, and that one video where I'm spalling, my most popular video, I hate that video so much. Every time I look at it, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it down. But no, everyone seems to like it. I don't know what it is. Anyway. Just little blades, just little things. Actually, I don't think this is one of mine, actually. I think it's one of my kids. This one here. I think one of my kids did this one. If I remember right. Yeah. This one I'm going to save for probably a long time, because if I mess this up, I'm going to be highly upset. I want a nice blade out of this one. It's got some issues. A big patch of concrete right there. But I like this piece a lot, so I want to do it some justice when I get around to it. All right, so here's some broken ones. I think you've seen that one already. That's in the one-eared knife video. Yeah, just learning how to do the pedernales types and stuff. Nice material though. Let's see. Broke off an ear. Oh no, broke off a barb. That's the barb, that's the ear. I get mixed up. Nice and straight. Everything's pretty cool. I don't know what I'm going to make out of it now. Sometimes I don't do anything with these. Yeah, snap that off. Let's see. I did some of these recently. Heartbreaking stuff. Just simple breaks every now and then. I'm goofing around with these. Yeah, I hate when I do that. Little barb ding, or yeah, too much pressure. This is a raw piece. No, it's not raw. It is heat treated, but it's one of those that doesn't respond too much to heat. It still feels raw, even though it's probably heated up to about 350 degrees or 375. And I'm putting a lot of pressure on that notch, and boop, blows off the barb. Okay. Yeah, this is an oldie. I think it was going to be a Laguna point. Some of these are really old. When I first started using indirect percussion. Actually, this one is recent. Yeah, this one I did 2 days ago. I cracked right along that seam that I thought was going to be so cool, because it looked like a lightning bolt through the whole thing. Yeah, it lightning bolted its way to a crack. Yep. Anyway. Some of these are old. I don't know which ones. This one's old. I don't even remember doing that one. I'll rework some of these. That one's one of my kids. One of my kids did this one. This is just a tip ding on that. Anyway. How much time we got left? 10 minutes. Let's see. I think we can fill up 10 minutes. I just did this one yesterday. It's Georgetown. I wanted to see the quality. Excellent quality. Nice. I'm going to make a nice point if everything goes well. This one is one of those reworked, a biface, one of these things. I took one of these and I made a smaller little point out of it. It's not finished yet, but I just want to see how thin it would get and so forth. Did that the other day. I did this one a few days ago. 400 grains, low grade, low heat. Yeah, this is a low grade shirt, even though it looks pretty good. Try to get it thin. So I've got a lot of this stuff, but in smaller pieces like this, flakes and whatnot. These little blue dot shirt. I don't know what they call it. Yeah, practice. This is how I'm going to sign my points. Let's see. Focus, please. Yeah, this is a .003, I guess, diameter pen tip. Works pretty good. Pretty small points. I needed to come up with something small because I've been using pen tips that are too thick to sign my stuff. Yeah, .003 seems to work. Then I put a layer of fingernail finish coat, fingernail polish finish coat, stuff that goes over the top of fingernail polish to make sure it doesn't scratch and stuff. Works pretty good to seal in the signature. I did that a few days ago. I think I showed this one already. Did that one, I don't know, last week or so. This one I did a few weeks ago. Just to see what this, well, how much it weighs for this particular size. 362 grains. That's definitely an lateral dart point or a knife. Anything over 300 grains is going to be a little bit on the heavy side. Oh, this is just a regular hunting triangle made of nice shirt. Yeah, a bunch of broken stuff. If I have an error like this, I try to get it from the other side or somewhere and usually break it, because it's ruined anyway. If I make a mistake with a step that bad, I'll just go, all right, it's going to break or fix, so it usually breaks. Yeah, just a leaf shaped point to see how thin I could get this particular piece. I didn't want to get it too thin. That's a nice material. If I get too thin, it'll break. Sometimes I'll make these and I'll save them for those hokum points later on. And this is a piece of jasper. I don't know what this is. It's heat treat. I don't know where it's from. Hopefully it's from the Southwest, but it could be from somewhere else. Another piece of heat treat. I don't know. I do these long points sometimes for the for some of these Southwest points, like the Gatlin side notch. They're really long too. Anyway. Yeah, these hurt. But the base was too narrow anyway. The neck is too narrow on this one for what I wanted. So I didn't care too much. And I'll rework a lot of these into smaller arrowheads if I have time. Some of these are too small. But if it's a good quality shirt or flint, I'll save it. These are all pretty good quality, so I usually save this kind of stuff. All right, so that's it. Oh yeah, there's something else that I was looking at the other day. I don't know if this is real or if it's a hoax or whatever. But there was these people that couldn't touch their index finger to their pinky, right? Somehow they couldn't reach. They're like, oh, I don't know what the problem is. I can touch the index finger to the pinky pretty easy. Is that a issue? Is that a problem? I don't know. Anyway, that's it.